Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video on my channel. I am your host, Morrigan, and today we are going to be reacting to the Male Loser Epidemic by Shoe on Head. For those of you that weren't around for the last video, I've started this new series called Mecha Break Monday, which I will have a video out this week for Mecha Break Monday. But I have been working very hard on getting an actual reaction out because it has been quite a while, and Shoe on Head always brings the best content. And of course, you know, listening to people complain about stuff on the internet, the never-ending gender war, and of course, you know, Reddit's greatest is always a joy to react to. So, before we get started though with the reaction, my link tree will be in the description down below, as well as Shu's video link, if you want to go support and check her out, which I highly recommend. But without further ado, let's get into the reaction.
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like, a war breaks out or something, but thankfully that did not happen. But at least we found out the real Epstein files were the friends we made along the way.
Well, oh boy, we're hitting the Epstein files right out of the gate. Oh geez. Yeah, well, let's not go into that can of worms. Save that for another day. But yeah, no, I feel Shoe on Head's, you know, struggle of not putting content out all the time. I feel it, Shoe. I have the same issues.
Welcome back to the Shoe on Head channel. If it is your first time here, run. I am Shoe on Head, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues mostly surrounding men's issues. It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively 24-year-old making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists to a bitter, calloused 34-year-old talking about very real and growing men's issues.
You know what's really crazy? Shoe hasn't aged a day. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I mainly chalked that up to the camera quality. I mean, genuinely though, Shoe has not aged a day. That's actually insane. I wish, you know, hopefully that happens to me. I doubt it will, but that is a feat. So good on you, Shoe.
One of the main men's issues I have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. It's not—
Before we even get super deep into the video, let me just put this out there. There isn't a male loser epidemic, okay? Let's be very clear about that. There is two things that are going on. You have men that are not exactly, you know, told or have role models to show them what it is to be the best potential man. That's part one to the issue, in my opinion, right? Lack of good father figures, male role models to show what being a good man is like. The second part is the same thing when it comes to women. Women don't have good mothers or good households to, number one, realize what a good man looks like and how a good man is supposed to act. And then they don't have good mothers to show them how a good woman is supposed to act. And the problem is, right, when it comes to men, there is no support. There is nothing for them to help guide them. It's just a lot of blaming men and pushing them down. Meanwhile, society will lift women up even when they say the most ridiculous, dumb ass takes I've ever heard. And it's really sad. But that is the really two-part issue to this whole situation.
Not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die movement. Months ago—
If you want my take on why I think that this is the case when it comes to men moving towards the right, it's a factor of three things. The first thing, you of course have feminism, which back in the day was for, you know, equality and, you know, giving women the right to vote, have equal opportunity, etc., which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it eventually became like a man-hating culture and movement. So that's part one, right? Part two is the Democrat Party took them and a lot of left-wing extremists underneath their wing and catered to those like 30-80 issue or something like that, where they cater to like the smaller minority rather than what average Americans care about. And then when it comes to the right, I don't think the right really does anything for men, but they at least talk to them or give them a hopeful message, even if they don't implement policies or anything to actually make that happen. And it goes to show that even by acknowledging men's existence and giving them hope or speaking to men in a positive way, even if there is no action behind it, that's really all it takes to swift, men to a political side. And like I said, to me it makes sense, and I can understand why men would mainly go to the right over the left, because they're more welcome based upon the message in and of itself, and the people under that wing, if that makes sense.
So I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. And I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class. Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotels.
I think that the most depressing part about all this, or the saddest part, is the fact that the Democrat Party needs to spend $20 million to figure out how to speak to men. That's not that hard to do. I have a father, I have brothers, and it's not that hard to figure out what men like, or what they're interested in, or what they care about. Men are very simple, much more simple than women, and trust me, I would know, I'm a woman, but men are very simple. It comes down to three basic things, right? They want to be respected/appreciated. They want to protect and provide. It's pretty simple. And then when you look at what men are interested in, right, whether it's from hunting, video games, nerd culture, whatever it is, right? What do men always gravitate towards, right? Something that has to do with protecting or providing. Rather they're watching a hero's journey in a superhero movie or a comic book, manga, whatever, they are gravitated towards something that has to do with protecting, providing. And then, of course, when it comes to being with somebody, they want to be respected, obviously. And granted, respect, you do have to earn, but to be respected and to be cared about. It's really simple. I don't know how the Democrat Party can't figure out what men want or care about. It's very basic, very simple. I could understand looking into more so what women want, because we can be all over the place.
Hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan, promises to use the funds to study the syntax, language, and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things. The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying. Now, as you can see here is the young man in his natural habitat, in a dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles. Here is another young man, as you can see, also dwelling in a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates, but moving on, here is another young man, we think. We're not quite sure about this one. We
have all the representation right here of pretty much every guy you can think of. You get Asmongold, right, who's a streamer. Politically, he's in the middle, but I would say, I would say he's more right-leaning than left, and the only reason I would say that is because the left in general has gone more left instead of being more centrist, which makes Asmongold look more right-wing, even though he's realistically not. You have Destiny, who is completely left, and in my opinion, kind of a basket case. And then you got Nux, which is a VTuber, and he's pretty based, but also kind of out there too. It's just interesting because the wide range of, streamers that they have here and viewpoints is just really interesting. But at the same time, right, even if you take somebody like Destiny, who doesn't, who aligns with the left and stuff like that more, let's say he genuinely cares about the issues that he cares about, there is still this, protecting, nature, right? Like if you take male feminists, for instance, right? Which I personally find to be very cringe, but male feminists do have this idea of protecting women's rights. So even if you want to say that, the guys that are simps or are, in that kind of category, right? They still want to protect women and provide for women. It's just not in the same way as a more traditional masculine man would. It doesn't matter how you split it. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a conservative guy or a liberal guy. They both want to protect and provide, but the ways that they go about showing that and doing that are different based upon which way they tend to lean. So, like I said, men are very simple. Doesn't matter if you're talking to left-leaning men or right-leaning men. They want to protect and provide, but obviously based upon values that will show and manifest differently in the world depending on their values. It's very simple.
We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here. Shoe-on-Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies, 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 mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
Since Trump scored big with young male voters last election, Democrats are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's it.
But the stats...
Man, I really fucking hate The View. These motherfuckers give absolutely no substance or value in anything that comes out of their mouths. Genuinely a waste of television. But they did say one thing that's correct. It's a waste of money because it's not that hard to talk to men. Like I said, it's very simple, it's very basic. But I really do need to preface, fuck The View, terrible show, what a waste of television.
I don't bear that out now. Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Oh.
It's kind of rich for Tommy Lauren to basically say, oh, it's all men's fault and men just want to be stay-at-home sons. That's not even close to the case. I want to address two major things that she said. Number one, that the pickings are slim for women. It is for men too. There's a lot of terrible women out there that have overinflated self-egos and standards for men, number one. Number two, the, economic climate for men to provide, to have their own house and stuff, just like with women, is not that great. But women have an advantage because women are graduating college at 5 times the rate as men. I'm not, quoting any survey or anything. I'm just going off of basic knowledge that we have. But women are basically graduating college at 5 times the rate as men, which means they're getting higher earning degrees, they're getting higher earning jobs through a bunch of different government programs and such, right? So women are leading in pretty much every sector you can think of compared to men, making it harder for men to provide and therefore give these women the provider husband that they are seeking, along with their other superficial requirements that they have. And their attitudes are terrible. That's the other half. The attitudes are terrible. And like I said, I have a dad and I have brothers. So when it comes to my brothers, like, I understand like the dating that they have to deal with. So from a first-hand account, I can testify, like, it's not easy out there for guys. I was lucky to be raised in a household with, a good family and parents and structure system. And that's why I understand as, a woman, how to act and how to treat people. But a lot of people come from broken families. So you don't get that, right? And it's really disheartening to see how men just get thrown under the bus with everything wrong with society, like it's not a two people issue. Like, it takes two people to make a relationship. It takes two people to make a marriage. It takes two people to have a child. Like, it takes two. So if there's a problem going on in dating or in the economy, it's a two-part issue. It's not a one-part issue. And you have to take a look at, like, well, why are men succeeding? Why are men not succeeding in certain areas where women are? And why are women choosing to not date a lot of men? It's a 1-2 punch, and it's pretty easy to look at the situation and find a way to fix it. But, of course, for ratings purposes or, whatever aisle of fence you want to get on, it's just easier to fight with the other side. And I think fighting with the other side is just stupid. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second. 3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry. I felt left out. All right, let's go. Wait, I need my gamer fuel. See? I do drink it. That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura, I gotta tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. That's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash. And that's why
This is just, it's hurting my brain. Okay, so the fact that she's out here saying that, the birth rates are down and it's because of men being lazy, no. There's more to it than that. Let's say every man was out working a job, right? Most women are out earning men, which means that women are going to go after partners that, of course, have higher paying jobs, which is not majority of men, which means you have a lot of women fighting for a small pool of men, which means there will not be as many births happening. And not to mention, chances are, if you have one guy sharing multiple women, he's not going to try to get every one of them pregnant because that's going to hurt him financially speaking, right? So there's a lot more factors than just, oh, men are lazy, so women don't want to date them. It's not like that. I mean, yeah, there are lazy men out there. There's lazy women out there too. Like, at the end of the day, it's pretty easy to see. Women are, like I said, dominating in many sectors, whether it's education, jobs, making money, support systems, etc., compared to men. No wonder women are not choosing men or going after men. Society, and well, the society we've all built, right? And treating women like they can't do no wrong and putting them on pedestals, coming from a woman, has not helped anything at all. It has made things worse. So, yet again, blaming men and throwing them under the bus as if they are the only reason why this is happening is ridiculous. Sure, there are some men out there that are lazy and that do need to get a job and get off their ass. But that's not majority of men. And that's where Tommy Lauren doesn't seem to understand the simple fact that economically women are doing better than men, and women look for a man that makes more to provide, regardless of if she's making more than the average man or not. It blows my mind that no one can say anything of common sense. And the fact that a VTuber, part-time VTuber at that, has to come on and say something that's common sense is sad. Really sad. So I'm going to do something a little bit different than I normally do with the reaction video. Because normally I will react to most of the video and then I will give my, thoughts on it, right? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my reaction part here and kind of discuss the major things about the video. Obviously, if you want to see the whole video, go watch Chu's video. But the reason I'm not going to react to the whole thing is because I already know where this is going to go. There's going to be a bunch of women blaming men for not being either financially stable enough or just being lazy and whatnot, when we've already basically talked about, well, the reason why everything is the way that it is. It is the way that it is simply because, number one, right, men are behind in a lot of different aspects of life, okay? And this has to do with the fact that society props women up, gives them a bunch of different programs to help them in terms of schooling, in terms of getting jobs, right? Like initiatives and whatnot. And on top of that, right, men are working. They're just not graduating with degrees to get those higher paying jobs. And they're working jobs that just aren't paying as much as women. And they don't have those programs or initiatives like women do. And at the end of the day, right, seeing conservative or liberal media blaming men 24/7, this is the reason why, right, the voter base, when it comes to men, will literally go where they are welcomed in any kind of capacity. And the problem is that you have feminists or even conservative women complaining that men are either all terrible, evil rapists, mostly coming from the left, and on the right, it's that you're all lazy and you just need to get a job. And at the end of the day, men are just trying to live and do their best, and women are not appreciating that at all. They're not understanding that times have changed, and with how progressive our society has become, that it has put men in a position where if you are a woman and you care about getting a degree and you care about getting, a top paying job before having a family or before, finding a partner, then your chances of finding someone is going to be smaller unless you, of course, lower your standards, at least in the financial sense. And I feel bad for men because men have to fight against not only society kicking them down and blaming them for everything all the time, but also just living their day-to-day life, just trying to make ends meet, right? And hopefully find somebody. And at the end of the day, I do blame a lot of progressive movements, including feminism and what it's turned out to be, for these things. Sure, there are lazy men that do need to get jobs and get off their asses. But most men are working, probably working more than just one job or crazy hours. It's not men being lazy. It's not that at all. It is simply society trying to justify women having either crazy standards or trying to justify progressivism, even though it's done more harm than good. That's my personal opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed the video, even though I didn't react to the whole thing. But like I said, I kind of know where this is going. And I'm not going to react to cringe comments because, quite frankly, I don't think that that's very informative or interesting, in my opinion. But I hope you all have a great day, and I will catch you all in the next one.